it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your up, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather broke down the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, saying that Davis is making his own choices and taking a major risk with his career. Floyd explained that he has offered advice in the past, but if it's ignored, it's no longer his responsibility. He added that the matchup is good for boxing, the payday is huge, and he'll definitely be tuning in to watch.
Within my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your up, not mine.
The boxing world has been buzzing with heated debates about the upcoming clash between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Fans and analysts are divided into two camps, arguing whether this fight should even happen. While some see it as a marketing stunt, others view it as an opportunity for Tank to reach audiences beyond traditional boxing fans. Amid all the noise, many insiders have stepped forward to share their opinions, some defending Tank's decision, while others criticize what it means for the sport's direction.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean, that's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch with Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups, you know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it, but it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett expressed frustration over the backlash Gervonta Davis has been receiving, arguing that people today criticize fighters for nearly everything they do without understanding their personal situations. Hackett emphasized that if Davis chooses to fight Jake Paul, that decision deserves respect. He noted that no one outside the ring truly knows what a fighter is dealing with or what drives their career choices. For Hackett, boxing fans need to stop dictating who fighters should face and instead appreciate the hard work and discipline it takes to stay at the top. His perspective reflects a broader frustration among trainers and athletes who believe social media has turned boxing criticism into constant spectacle.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get shit from you.
Another major discussion has centered around sports analyst Max Kellerman, whose commentary has sparked significant backlash. Many boxing analysts accuse Kellerman of being overly biased, especially against fighters like Gervonta Davis. In several recent appearances, Kellerman dismissed Tank's accomplishments, suggesting he had never truly dominated his division or achieved anything remarkable. These remarks didn't sit well with other analysts, who argued that Kellerman's take ignored Davis's knockout power and impressive record. Critics believe Kellerman's attitude exposes a deeper bias within boxing media, one that undervalues rising stars while overhyping spectacle-driven narratives. This debate highlights how perception and favoritism continue to shape public opinion about fighters.
Because Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalists that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135. And there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's there.
Former world champion Pauli Malignaggi has never been shy about expressing strong opinions, and this matchup is no exception. He openly criticized the idea of Davis fighting Jake Paul, arguing that boxing is losing its authenticity. According to him, knockouts only matter when they happen between evenly matched opponents. Manufactured fights, he claimed, cheapen the sport and mislead casual fans into thinking they're witnessing real competition. During his talk with fellow analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi said that while casual viewers might find the event entertaining, true boxing fans can see through the spectacle. He believes allowing social media-driven fighters to share the same spotlight as world-class athletes confuses what real boxing stands for. His comments highlight the growing tension between entertainment and tradition within the sport.
Knockouts, dude. Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture knockouts.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist, if he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way they did when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was, to a degree, manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time fought.
Teddy Atlas will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of Witherspoon.
That we're afraid of
with the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
In contrast to critics like Malignaggi, boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult offered a more optimistic take after watching the press conference between Davis and Jake Paul. He said he felt more confident in Tank's chances. Initially, he had doubts about Gervonta's size disadvantage, thinking Jake might be too big and strong. But after seeing Davis's composure and sharpness, he changed his mind. Showbiz said Davis carried himself like a true professional who understood the moment. His calmness, confidence, and focus under pressure convinced him that Gervonta could overcome the physical differences. He added that this fight might surprise those who think Jake's power will be too much for a smaller opponent. According to Showbiz, Davis's technical skill and high ring IQ could end up being the deciding factors.
I'll be the hell out this kid. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. No cap. I know Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
He laughing.
What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're going to get a weird response to your take.
Floyd Mayweather's name has once again surfaced in conversation, not as a promoter this time, but as a competitor. Reports suggest that Mayweather is now pursuing a potential fight with Mike Tyson, and analysts see it as more than just another money grab. They believe Floyd's move comes from his desire to prove that he still commands attention even in retirement. With all eyes on the Davis vs. Paul showdown, Mayweather seems unwilling to let anyone, not even his protege, steal the spotlight. Observers say this is classic Floyd, a man who thrives on attention, competition, and legacy. While Gervonta and Jake prepare for their spectacle, Floyd's rumored fight hints at a bigger theme: the constant struggle among boxing icons to stay relevant in an ever-changing sports world.
Celebrities and so many people that are known, where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers joined the discussion with a message of caution for those doubting Gervonta Davis. Chambers stressed that size doesn't always decide the outcome of a fight. He reminded fans that boxing history is filled with smaller, more skilled fighters defeating larger opponents. According to him, Jake Paul's physical advantage means little when compared to Davis's speed, technique, and ring IQ. Chambers noted that while Jake has improved over the years, he still lacks the experience to handle a world-class talent like Gervonta. He concluded that underestimating Tank would be a serious mistake, not just because of his power, but because of his strategic mindset and discipline. His remarks brought balance to the debate, urging fans to focus on skill rather than spectacle. Insiders say Gervonta is taking this fight very seriously, with reports from his training camp describing him as focused and intense. Analysts note his composed and determined body language during press events. For Davis, this fight isn't just about money, it's about pride and opportunity. A victory over Jake Paul could earn him massive mainstream attention and strengthen his crossover appeal. Some even argue that Davis views this matchup as a strategic step to expand his audience beyond hardcore boxing fans. While critics dismiss the event as a circus, Tank appears determined to prove he can balance commercial success with true competition. His preparation shows a fighter who wants to control the narrative instead of being defined by it.
Press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley has also spoken out, leaning toward confidence in Gervonta Davis. Bradley called the fight an easy money opportunity for Tank, saying that Davis's experience and skill make Jake Paul's challenge look minor in comparison. He pointed out that Davis has faced and beaten elite opponents, whereas Jake has fought only a few professionals. Bradley acknowledged Jake's dedication, but said the gap in experience is too large to ignore.
The heart right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot, man, we can put together some kind of account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro, so that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. Look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. A circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, 1 minute they said, oh, this is the fight.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, and until next time, keep your guard up and your passion for boxing alive.